In a world built by men, these women ruled through the bedroom. Welcome to Empire of Desires. Our story begins in Los Angeles in the early 1990s, the pulsating heart of Hollywood, where the line between power, wealth, and sin is thinner than anywhere else on Earth. Contrary to popular belief, today's subject did not come from poverty or the dark backstreets of the city. We are talking about a woman who sent shockwaves through every major film studio and billionaire's office in America. Her name was Heidi Fleiss, a girl born in 1965 into the intellectual aristocracy of California. Her father, Dr. Paul Fleiss, was one of the most prominent pediatricians in the country, treating the children of A-list celebrities. Heidi grew up surrounded by wealth and prestige, but the question remains, what drove a girl from this background into the underworld of high-end prostitution? It all began with a chance encounter at the age of 22. Heidi, bored with the predictable and stifling life of the upper class, met a woman named Madam Alex, Elizabeth Adams. Alex was the most famous madam in Los Angeles at the time, managing a network of girls for the elite. She saw a strange potential in Heidi. She realized that Heidi was not only beautiful, but possessed a sharp intelligence for communicating with powerful men. Alex began to mentor Heidi. She taught her how to uncover the secrets of great men, how to close multi-million-dollar business deals with a smile, and most importantly, how to identify the hidden needs of Hollywood. Heidi quickly realized that in Hollywood, there were men who had everything but suffered from loneliness and a lack of security. She decided that instead of working under Alex, she would build her own empire. She took all of Alex's high-end clients with her and built a network where security and discretion were the ultimate laws. This was how a doctor's daughter became the Hollywood madam. The Fleiss family's reaction to her path was a true tragedy. Imagine a father who was a symbol of morality and public health suddenly seeing his daughter on the front pages, not as a doctor, but as the head of the largest aristocratic prostitution ring in history. Dr. Fleiss remained in shock until his death, yet he never severed his emotional bond with Heidi. He spent his entire fortune defending her, believing that Heidi was merely a rebellious businesswoman responding to a hidden market demand. By the age of 25, Heidi had built an empire where clients paid between $5,000 and $10,000 per night. She lived in the former mansion of Mick Jagger and, with her charisma and wit, managed the most powerful men in the world. She trained her girls to dress like aristocrats, to talk about politics and art, and to be high-class companions for billionaires. She possessed so much influence that Hollywood stars would beg just to hear her voice over the phone. She was no longer just a madam. She was the executive manager of the expensive fantasies of the world's richest men. Her girls were transported by private jets and attended parties that entry to them was everyone's dream. Heidi, in this era, held the hidden pulse of Los Angeles and collected $1,000 bills like autumn leaves. But in her leather handbag, there was something more terrifying than money: the Black Book. This book was the document of Hollywood's captivity. Big names that played the role of heroes on the cinema screen were just a customer number in the pages of this book, with special tastes and astronomical amounts. But power always forges enemies. Heidi's addiction to crystal meth to stay awake and manage this vast network closed her eyes to danger. In 1993, when the police broke down the door of her mansion, not only Heidi was arrested, all of Hollywood trembled. The rumor of the names in that book being leaked became the nightmare of stars who until yesterday laid out the red carpet for Heidi. Heidi's trial turned into a global media circus. Everyone waited for her to leak the names of her clients, But Heidi had one ironclad rule: loyalty. Despite the threat of years in prison, she kept her mouth shut to protect the billionaires and actors. The only name that officially leaked was Charlie Sheen, who confessed to paying Heidi $50,000. Heidi was sentenced to 7 years in prison for tax evasion and pandering, eventually serving 21 months in a federal prison. The darkest and most controversial chapter of her life after prison was her destructive relationship with Tom Sizemore, the famous actor from Saving Private Ryan. Heidi, who once controlled men, now found herself a victim of Tom's violence, addiction, and madness. Their legal battle escalated when Heidi, with a bruised body and a shattered spirit, filed a lawsuit against Tom. She revealed in court that Tom Sizemore had threatened her with death, pulled her hair, and repeatedly physically assaulted her. This shocking trial sent Tom Sizemore to prison, but for Heidi, it was the end of her presence in the glitzy world of Hollywood. She realized that in this empire, even if you are the queen, you can still be crushed by a powerful man. No longer wishing to see the face of Los Angeles, Heidi retreated to the depths of the Nevada desert in an area called Pahrump. She went there with a bold plan: to establish the first ever brothel for women, the Stud Farm. She wanted to build a place where handsome men would provide services to wealthy women. She bought a large plot of land and invested heavily, but local authorities feared her influence and, due to her criminal record, never allowed this dream business to open. During this period of failure and loneliness, Heidi sought refuge in creatures she claimed were more honest than humans: exotic parrots. When the prison doors closed behind her, Heidi knew that silence was her greatest asset, yet uncovering the hidden layers of power became her new mission. With the release of her controversial book, Pandering, she pulled back the curtain on a world no one had dared to speak of before. In this book, and later in her famous documentary, she spoke with shocking candor about the man who was the chief architect of her path, Ivan Nagy. In the raw documentary, Heidi Fleiss, Hollywood Madam, Heidi refers to Ivan as her mentor and the key to Hollywood's darkest corridors. She honestly admitted that Ivan, a director living on the fringes of the film industry himself, took her by the hand and introduced her to the world of madams. This story of rise and fall was so Hollywood that the silver screen couldn't ignore it. The 2004 film, Call Me, offered a naked portrayal of her life, a girl who, with the help of her partner and mentor, Ivan, built an empire of forbidden dreams, only to be ultimately ensnared in the very web she had spun herself. Today, Heidi Fleiss lives in her 60s, in total seclusion in the Nevada desert. She never married and has no children. She lives in her home with more than 20 parrots, sitting on her porch at night with a loaded pistol to protect her birds from thieves who think she still has millions in cash hidden away. The woman who once rubbed shoulders with billionaires in gold-plated mansions has now found peace in the voices of birds and the silence of the desert. She proved that in the world of power, loyalty carries the highest price, and sometimes falling from the peak of Hollywood is the only way to find true peace.